Hello world, it's me again. It's the Don, the Senator Smooth and Rude, the Czar Style, your internet cousin, coming to you live from the 804, the 75Y, cause we global, baby, yeah. This is the Mansion in the Sky podcast where we build the lamb while we drive it. Every day we strive to become envious, which is unconquerable and influential in every area of your life. Our focus here at the Mansion is to learn lessons from current events, either global or local, and apply it while staying in the mix about technology, health, and everything in between in a cold, calculated, and never so changing world. Envious ones and lighters, welcome home. All right, we got a very exciting episode for you guys today. Of course, we have the word of the day. We got the Donisms, the isms, the Donisms. Then after that, then we're gonna give an update on the flight 5342 American flight and Army helicopter collision in DC. We're gonna get an update on what happened with that. Then after that, then we're gonna slide into what is a union, how does it work, and we're gonna go and we're gonna do a dive on unions and everything that they are and they represent, because the majority and the core base of my viewers are 9 to 5ers, W2 workers, some business owners, some not, some social media personalities, influencers, things of that nature. But nonetheless, I think it's important that we go over the nitty gritty of what a union is, and then we're going to give a few examples of some strikes that caused or they cause a reaction from unions. Then after that, then we're going to slide into, since it's been a pretty, hold on, give me a second, y'all. Since it's been a week of, or couple of weeks of aviation misfits and mishappenings, rest in peace to the victims. It just started getting my gears turning and churning. And I was like, you know what? How do these airlines really make their money? So we're going to do a dive on not only how these airlines, the four titans, make their money, but then we're going to talk about the most profitable airports in the world and what they are. But yesterday, I was I went to go take my car out to get an oil change, tire rotation, and just to get looked at, because I mean that's my mode of transportation. That's how I go and I make my money, and I get around and be able to film and record and do whatever it is that I need to do. My car, that's my main. That's my main chick. She hold me down like an anchor. And without her, I wouldn't be able to be me or do me. That's my girl Toya. And I get to the dealership because I don't go to Jiffy Lube or anything like that anymore. I can't. I can't with all that technology and the electronics in it. I can't go to Jiffy Lube anymore. I gotta go to the dealership. And I hand my car over to them, leave it on or whatever. They take the car, they do what they need to do. So while they're servicing my vehicle, I'm like, you know what? It's good weather outside. The snow, I said the snow. The wind isn't blowing. It feels good out here. It's, I ain't gonna say it's scenic, but you know what? I'm gonna hit this red button. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna film a vlog. You know, and I have my my brown leather jeans on. I had my Crocs on. I had my Still Nigga hoodie. Shout out to Mace. Got that hoodie from him, I think like 5 years ago, something like that. But I still got it. And that hoodie was inspired by, I think it was something that happened at Gucci, where they had a slip up in their advertisements where it was something that was racist. I don't remember exactly what happened, but go back and look that up. But anyways, I was like, you know what? let's film a vlog. So I'm filming a vlog, and it just came to me. It was like, you know what? Maintaining is a whole hell of a lot cheaper and smarter in the long term than replacing. Now there are some things that you need to replace, like spark plugs. You gotta replace your spark plugs. You know, if you have a bad brake pad, you gotta replace your brake pad. But not just in the terms of cars, with everything. Maintaining is cheaper than replacing. Maintenance is better than replacement. I can't say it enough. It is. It's just like with your body. See, I'm at the age now where I gotta stretch. I have to work out. Like my daily routine is I get up at 5 in the morning. First 30 minutes of the day is no phone. I don't per se. I wouldn't say that I meditate. I don't sit there and I don't and with my legs crossed with incense burning. I don't do that. I don't do that. Now maybe later on down the road I might, but I don't do that right now. I get up, no no electronics, no technology, no TV. I go fix some tea, I fix some coffee. I get up because I'm at my house and I'm not leaving, so uh, do that. Then 5:30, I go to the gym. I'm in the gym. First thing I do is I get on the treadmill, 20 minutes. Then after that, then I jump rope 2 to 5 minutes. After I jump rope, then I stretch for 10 minutes. And then I do my pulls and my push type lifts. And then after that, then I do abs. Gotta work on the core. Gotta get that together. Because I got a muffin top right now. I got love handles. Anyways, for a point and for a while, at the beginning of 2024 and even 2023, like my body was just messing up on me. Like it just wasn't responding and functioning the way that I needed to function and respond. It just wasn't doing what it needed to do. And 2024 comes around, I get my bag up, I sit down, and I make an extensive plan. I make a about a 2 to 5 year plan with a couple of 10-year goals. But in that plan, the first year I said, I need a gym in the house. I gotta work out. I have to get my nutrition together because at the rate and the pace that I'm going, I'm not gonna make it. I am not gonna make it. And by the way, this is the isms. The isms have the Don isms. But I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna be that decrepit old man, bent over, looking like a hunchback of Notre Dame. And that's just not how I envision myself going out of here or living this life. That's just not in the cards for me. That's not how this is going down. Like I see myself being a vibrant, exquisite, cigar smoking, older gentleman with money to invest in people that I believe in, young women that I like around me that I can keep up with, high quality relationships around me that I can maintain and we can benefit off of each other, networks that I can benefit off of and they can benefit off of me. And I said, man, nah, this is not gonna be me. This is not how my story is gonna go. This is not gonna be that line in between 1991 dash whenever I go up out of here. I'm gonna live forever, so it's gonna be that infinity sign. But I said that's not how I'm gonna go up out of here. So I spent about $800 on a home gym. I have a squat rack, and in the vlogs you'll see them, in videos that I post on social medias. You'll see them. You'll see what I'm working with, and it's good enough. Oh, it's great enough. Sure, it may be great again, but I put my money up. I put my money where my mouth is, and I went out. I got it. It's in the gym, and I'm in that room putting in sweat equity every single day because I refuse to have to, at age 42, 43, 44, have to get rushed to the hospital because I fell and broke my hip, because I didn't take care of myself, because I didn't maintain. See, it's cheaper to maintain than it is to replace. See, I'm not going to be the guy at age 45 who can't control his blood pressure or his cholesterol or his health, when all I had to do was, hey, if I want to have a cheeseburger every now and then, that's cool. If I want to have a soda when I go out and I get my Henny and Coke, even though I don't do the Henny and Coke anymore, more like Jack and Coke. Or if I learned this, if I want to make some beer pancakes every now and then, it's not going to affect me like that. I don't want to be the guy who's 45, and if I do that, my blood pressure shoot through the roof. Why? Because it's cheaper to maintain than it is to replace. Now, like I said in the beginning, sometimes you might need to replace something, and you'll know. But in this case, speaking on this subject, in this segment, in this show, it's cheaper to maintain than it is to replace. See, these vapes right here, hey, you got to replace them. Hey, there is no maintaining. Now, back in the day when I first started vaping, you had the whole mod. You had custom mods where you could customize them, and you had to maintain them because you had to, you know, your foil in there and your cotton. I said foil. I mean your coils. Excuse me. And then your cotton, and then you had to dip a little bit of or put a little bit of juice on the cotton, and then uh, uh, prep it. I forget what the terms is because that was like 10 years ago. But you had to prep it, and then you could screw your cap on, and then you could do what you need to do. And it's cheaper to maintain than it is to replace. Now, in this case, it's a whole hell of a lot cheaper to replace than it is to maintain. But this exception to the rule don't change the rule. You get where I'm coming from. It's cheaper to maintain than it is to replace. So just keep that in mind as you go forward with anything that you accumulate. Cars, relationships, your health, your mental health, everything. Your house. I mean, hell, in your house. If you don't dust every week, what's going to happen? It's going to accumulate. Now, I ain't saying that you got to replace the whole house if it gets too damn dusty. We might just need to replace the person who is renting or owning that house. How about that? But I'm saying, consistent. Stay on top of things. Because it's cheaper to maintain than it is to replace. That's all I'm saying. All right. The word of the day. The word of the day. The word for today is, what is it?
Coup.
Coup. A coup. It's a noun. It's spelled C-O-U-P. Hold on, did I turn that music off? All right. What does it mean? A sudden, decisive exercise of force in politics, and especially the violent overthrow or alteration of an existing government by a small group. Coup d'etat. In its first few hours, the coup seemed a terrifying confirmation of the power of the military, the police, and especially the KGB. By nightfall, the troops had freed the captured president and ended the 6-day-old coup, a military spokesman said. Coup. It's been a lot of coups that's happened in history, usually political. A lot of people would say, hell, the 2020 election was not only fraud but a coup. But I don't know. I'm just telling you what people say. Coup. That's the word of the day. All right, let's go into the update from the American Airlines collision. The Army helicopter warned twice before fatal crash. Once again, this is an opinion that comes from eonline.com. Once again, this is an opinion that's coming from eonline.com. Let's get into it.
More has come to light about the fatal collision over the Potomac River. Days after American Airlines Flight 5342 and a U.S. Army helicopter collided mid-air in Washington, D.C., officials shared that the military aircraft had been warned by air traffic control about the incoming plane. National Transportation Safety Board investigator Bryce Banning confirmed during a February 1st press conference that the control tower requested the regional jet switch runways at 8:43 p.m. local time. As he explained, after a brief discussion between the crew, they agreed to runway 33.
They always say that communication is key. But what I've learned from being grown and handsome, is that communication isn't just key, but comprehension is key. See, I can communicate with you and you can communicate back to me. But if you don't comprehend, if you don't understand what it is that I'm saying to you, then hell, we done wasted time, space, opportunity, breath. We probably blew hot breath in each other's face. But I'm just saying, comprehension of the communication is key.
At 8:46 p.m., the tower informed the Black Hawk helicopter that the traffic nearby was the airplane just south of the Wilson Bridge at 1,200 feet that was circling to runway 33. At 8:47 p.m., Banning said an audible radio transmission asked the helicopter if the plane, which carried 60 passengers and 4 crew members, was in sight. After 3 seconds, the helicopter was directed to pass behind the plane, Banning explained, adding that 16 seconds later, the plane's crew had a verbal reaction, and the flight data recorder showed the aircraft began tilting the nose upward before the air traffic control heard sounds of impact.
Another thing, too, is the industry that I work in and industries that I've worked in. One of the number one things that they say is, excuse me, let me put it back up here, is, well, I can put it full screen because I'm getting ready to talk. Nah, I'll put it back. Okay. In some of the industries that I've worked in, one of the main things that they always say is, if you don't understand, ask. If you don't understand, ask. Hold on, y'all. All right, let's go ahead. Let's continue.
All those aboard both aircrafts were killed. NTSB board member Todd Inman
Rest in
also
peace.
shared
Rest in peace
insight
to
into the
everybody
Black
on
Hawk
those
safety
planes.
protocol. He said during the press conference,
Aircrafts.
"We can verify it was on a training flight that would utilize night vision goggles. We do not know at this time if the night vision goggles were actively being worn, nor what the setting may be." However, he emphasized Further investigation should be able to let us know if that occurred and what factor it may play in the overall accident.
So that's the update right there on the crash. Rest in peace. Condolences to the families. Let's take a moment of silence for all the victims and the families. So, as long as I've been grown, working, making money, paying my own bills, living life, most will probably say on the edge, I have been a part of a union. But I must admit, I'm not afraid to admit my wrongs because I'm righting all my wrongs, righting them all because I still have breath in my body and I can do so. I never thoroughly understood what a union was. So today, we're going to do a dive on what a union is. Let's go. A union is a group of workers who join together to advocate for their rights and improve their working conditions. Unions are also known as labor unions or labor organizations. A little synopsis on how unions work. Collective bargaining. Unions negotiate with employers on behalf of their members. This process gives workers more power to set the terms of their employment. Union dues. We all hate paying union dues. Because let's be real, unions are kind of like insurance. You don't always use them, but when you need it, it's a good thing to have most of the times, depending on what union. Unions are funded by member dues, which are typically paid monthly. Union representatives. Union representatives are usually elected by members through internal democratic elections. What do unions fight for? Let's talk about it. Fair wages. Unions fight for decent wages and a minimum wage. Benefits. Unions fight for better benefits, including affordable health care. Safe workplaces. Unions fight for safe and respectful workplaces, including improved safety standards. Job security. Unions fight for job security and fair scheduling. Work-life balance. Unions fight for a shorter workday. How did unions gain their rights? The Wagner Act, also known as the National Labor Relations Act, established the right to form unions in 1935. The Fair Labor Standards Act guaranteed a minimum wage, a 40-hour work week, and the end of child labor. Hold on, give me a second. So let's talk about the history of unions in the United States. And once again, this topic is more so for me. Yeah, I could have sat down, spent a couple hours, and did my own research by my lonely. But I said, you know what? I got the mansion in the sky experience. And this is part of the experience. This is what we do here. These are things that we need to understand, especially if we're W 2 workers and we might be working a job where, you know what, a situation happens and I need to have an idea of what this union is that I'm paying this 14, 20, $30 to every month and how to work it and how they work for me and why they're here and how they got here and all of these type of things. Because I will be the first one to tell you because number one, I'm not going to lie to myself to lie to you. I'm not going to do that because I got to lie to myself first before I lie to you, number one. Number two, I lie for you before I lie to you. And in my 20s, I had no idea what a union was. I got little bits and snippets about it when coworkers would talk about it or whatever, this, that, and the fourth. But I had no idea the intricacies and the inner workings and the fine fabric of what a union was. So when I do my research on something, I like to know where it started, why it started, what are examples of it, how it works, what is it for, why is it here, all of those things. So let's go into the history of unions in the United States. Once again, to reiterate, labor unions are associations that aim to protect workers' rights and advance their interests. Unions negotiate with employers through a process known as collective bargaining. The result is a union contract with an employer specifying compensations, hours, benefits, job health, and safety policies. Workers achieved higher wages, reasonable hours, safer working conditions, health benefits, and aid when retired or injured because of labor unions. Once again, this article comes to us by Investopedia.com, written by Ronnie Sandoff and reviewed by Michael J. Boyle. Workers achieved higher wages, reasonable hours, safer working conditions, health benefits, and aid when retired or injured because of labor unions. Ah, man, it's been so many times when, if I just understood what the union was there for, it could have made my life better. Oh, it could have made my life better. Cause I got injured on the job so many times, and I was passive aggressive about what I was doing. Like one job, I was working, and I injured. Which finger was it? I think it was my middle finger. I ain't flicking y'all off. Ah. But I injured my middle finger and my ring finger on this hand. I got it stuck in like a conveyor belt. And one belt was spinning this way, the other belt was spinning that way. So they were, about to make myself dizzy. But they were spinning like that. Anyways, I wasn't thinking nothing of it. I stuck my two fingers down in between the two conveyor belts. And if I wouldn't have reacted as quickly as I did, I would have lost a hand, maybe an arm. But luckily, all that happened was it just tore the skin down to the white meat. That's it. Like Bernie Mac say, I'll bust your head to the white meat. And that's all it did. It just tore my finger to the white meat. So, I mean, I wasn't injured that badly, but I went to my supervisor. They sent me off to the urgent care, and they took care of me. But that was a situation that I possibly could have used the union and maybe got a little compensation, even though that was on me. So that's really the reason why I couldn't have did anything, because they specifically briefed everybody on things like that. Hey, when you're doing stuff, one, we're going to pull the videotape. I mean, nobody says videotape anymore, but these people, they operating like it's 1993 and there's still Blockbuster around the corner. Videotapes. Nobody watches videotapes or cassette tapes, DVDs, even that. It's all Netflix, Hulu, MGM Plus, all of that. So what you talking about pull the videotape? But they'll pull the tape on you. Number one, to see if you were indeed going against the law, not the laws, but the rules that they set forth, which in my case I did. So, of course, I didn't get fined. I just got some tough love because it's like, well, you're not dead and you're not hurt that bad. So they put Neosporin on it, banded it up, and tapped me on the booty. But it's been other times that I got hurt on the job. And my older coworkers were like, hey, you need workers' comp. Stop playing. Go to the doctor. And I'm like, next week. It'll go away. Because I was young. I was young, vibrant, full of energy. But little did I realize, like I said in my Donism, it's cheaper to maintain than it is to have to replace or go and get surgery and things like that. See, had I listened to my older coworker, then I would have knew as soon as the injury happened, hey, you got something going on with your knee. Because that's what it was. It was my knee. And my knee's still messed up to this day. Still, because of that on work injury. Now, I can't go back. No, or I could go back and say, hey, well, I got hurt at your job, on your equipment. What's up? Let's talk cents and dollars, dollars and cents. But that's besides the point. These things are put here. Now, people have their mixed theories, not conceptions, but they have their mixed theories on whether or not these associations work. So, sorry to me, I'm playing catch up. But better late than never. So let's keep going. All right, support for unions is rising in the U.S. A 2022 Gallup poll found that 71% of Americans support unions. That was up from 65% before the COVID-19 pandemic, and the highest support level since 1965. A 2024 Gallup poll found support still high, about at 70%. A labor union, or key takeaways. We already know what a union is. A sustained trade union organizing among American workers began in 1794 with the establishment of the first trade union, which you see. I'll be pulling up a image that elaborates more on that. All right, modern labor union members are very diverse, including more women and black workers than ever before. National organized labor groups have influenced federal legislation, such as the creation of the U.S. Department of Labor and Civil Rights legislation. Union power and membership reached a high point in the U.S. during the 1940s and 1950s. All right, let's talk about the history of unions in the U.S. from this chart right here. 1768, first record of a worker strike. All right. Then 1794, Philadelphia shoemakers formed the first union. 1835, black caulkers held a strike at the Washington Navy Yard. 1866, National Labor Union was created. 1867, National Union for Cigar Makers became first union to accept women and blacks. 1867, 2,000 Chinese workers on Transcontinental Railroad protested lower pay. 1913, Department of Labor, DOL, was created. 1914, Clayton Antitrust enacted. 1979, 21 million union members. 2021, non-union workers had median weekly earnings that were 83% of earnings for union members. Let's see. This is quite a lengthy article, but we're going to go through it because this is what we need. The rise of labor unions in the U.S. Labor unions have existed in the U.S. since the country's birth, and their origins can be traced back to the 18th century Industrial Revolution in Europe. The first recorded instance of a worker strike in America occurred in 1968. What's this say? 1968. All right, cool. When journeyman tailors protested a wage reduction. In 1794, Philadelphia shoemakers formed a union called the Federal Society of Journeymen Cordwainers. Local craft and trade unions then proliferated in major American cities. Industrialization resulted in the aggregation of workers in large factories, creating fertile ground for union growth. Large factories also put multiple trades under one roof, eventually leading to alliances among unions. Achieving a shorter workday was one of the union's major accomplishments. Excluding women, black workers, and immigrants. After the Civil War and the end of slavery, the need for both skilled and unskilled labor increased. Union members in the skilled trades remained overwhelmingly native-born white Protestant males throughout the 19th century. These higher-paid workers had the funds to pay union dues and contribute to strike funds. They were reluctant to organize unskilled Irish and Italian immigrants and also excluded women and black workers. Black workers were often paid lower wages, which made white workers fear they would be replaced by cheaper labor. It's always about money. Gotta follow that. Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Excluded groups organized their own unions. Black caulkers in the shipbuilding industry held a strike at the Washington Navy Yard in 1835. Women tailors, shoe binders, mill workers, and black laundresses formed their own unions. In 1867, the National Union for Cigar Makers was the first union to accept women and black workers. In 1912, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, which had been organizing in the telephone industry, primarily accepted women telephone operators. Protecting workers' rights. Winning gains for all workers and citizens, such as a shorter workday and a minimum wage, has been a key part of union activity. In 1866, the National Labor Union was created to limit the workday for federal employees to 8 hours. However, the private sector was much harder for unions to penetrate. Minimum wage. 21 U.S. states raised their minimum wage on January 1st, 2025. They are Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Vermont, VA, and Washington State. The price of labor declined as immigrants flooded the country. One group was often pitted against another to keep wages down. For instance, Chinese workers were brought in as replacements when Irish workers won pay raises from the railroads. Follow the money. In 1867, thousands of Chinese workers who were grading and digging tunnels for the Transcontinental Railroad simultaneously threw down their picks and shovels to protest their lower pay compared with white workers. Their strike failed after the railroad owner cut off all food and supplies. Poor pay and working conditions led to work stoppages by the Pullman Railroad workers and the United Mine workers. But both strikes were broken up by the government. Eugene Debs, leader of the American Railway Union in 1894 strike against the Pullman Company, was unable to convince members of his union to accept black railroad workers. Black workers, in turn, served as strikebreakers for the Pullman Company and for the owners of Chicago meatpacking companies whose stockyard workers struck in sympathy. In 1925, A. Philip Randolph began his successful 12-year fight to gain recognition for the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters by the Pullman Car Company, the American Federation of Labor, AFL, and the U.S. government. Randolph ultimately succeeded in his quest in 1937. See, to speak on Mr. Randolph, like, you have to have something that you're dedicated to. You have to have a mission. What is your purpose? What is your mission? You see what my mission is? My mission is through self-improvement and self-betterment and recording and filming it and not being afraid to admit my shortcomings and my so-called failures, because we fail up over here. It's never a loss. We fail up. Everything is a lesson. Through constant consistency and being constant in your purpose and you're moving forward and getting to it and getting after it, eventually something's going to shake loose and break loose for you. And eventually something's going to work out in your favor. Just like with this gentleman right here. Just like in, I forget what episode it was when we were talking about the history of Black History Month, where it started as the Negro History Week and then it expanded to a month because of I forget the gentleman's name. It'll come back to me. But he worked damn near his entire life, and Black History Month didn't come into fruition until years after the man had died. But had he given up, had he quit 5 minutes before the Miracle Mix, Black History Month would still just be Negro History Week. I don't want to be called a Negro. I mean, I do call some Negroes still, but I'm working on my demons, okay? I'm working on my demons, all right? Let's keep it moving. Labor reform legislation. Unions work not only for improvements in pay and working conditions, but also for labor reforms. The Federation of Organized Trades and Labor Unions was formed in 1881, and the AFL was founded 5 years later. Their combined organizing force led to the Act of Congress that created the Department of Labor, DOL, in 1913. The Clayton Antitrust Act of 1914 allowed employees to strike and boycott their employers. Give me a second. It was followed by the Walsh-Healy Public Contracts Act of 1936 and the Fair Labor Standards Acts of 1938, which mandated a minimum wage, extra pay for overtime work, and basic child labor laws. Later, the AFL-CIO played a crucial role in helping to pass civil rights legislation in 1964 and 1965. Once again, just letting you know and reminding you that this article comes to us via Investopedia.com. Investopedia.com. Impact of the Depression and War. Labor unions grew in power and number from the Civil War through World War I. During the 1920s, they lost some influence, but the Great Depression quickly reversed this trend. Union membership grew exponentially as the Depression wore on. The Congress of Industrial Organization, CIO, established in the 1930s, organized large numbers of black workers into labor unions for the first time. There were more than 200,000 black workers in the CIO in 1940, many of them officers of local unions, of course. Of course. That's just how it goes. During World War II, the influence of labor unions was somewhat curtailed. Some unions, such as those in the defense industry, were forbidden by the government to strike because of the impediment it would present to wartime production. Of course, that's where the money is. They making money. They making money. They making money. They making. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Yeah, 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 yeah. If it don't make dollars, it won't make sense. Let the pimping commence. The end of the war saw a wave of strikes in many industries. Union power and membership as a percent of employment reached a high point during this period. From the 1940s to the 1950s, the AFL merged with the CIO, becoming the AFL-CIO in 1955 to influence policies that would impact the American labor force. Some of the founding trade unionists were socialists, communists, and anarchists interested in leveraging union organization into broader revolutionary change. Others focused solely on bread and butter issues. Whew! Ugh! I gotta take that one for myself. Hey, others will focus on bread and butter issues. Federal legislation known as the Taft-Hartley Act passed in 1947 over President Harry Truman's veto required all union officials to file an affidavit and take an oath that they were not communists. Huh. This and many other provisions of the act, such as the ban on sympathy strikes or boycotts, weakened the union movement. So glad that we're doing this. Organizing lower paid workers. The next decades brought unionization to some of the lowest paid workers in the nation's hospitals, nursing homes, and farms. The 1950s. Hospital workers in New York City were organized by 1199, a predominantly white and Jewish union of pharmacists led by Leon Davis. In the late 1950s, during the first flush of the civil rights movement, 1199 mobilized the predominantly black and Latina workforce. An unprecedented 46-day strike at 7 of the city's most prestigious hospitals ended with the workers winning union recognition and better pay and working conditions. So, a lot of times when I do my research, I know Donald Trump talks about misinformation. There is a lot of different opinions on the internet, and they're all one saying this, one saying that, opinions contradicting each other. But one thing I know for a fact, there's the truth. It's one side, and then it's the other side. I said that backwards. But it's their side, your side, then the truth. And all it takes is a little bit of time to go through, just to read. And see, when you're reading, like me right now, I'm reading pretty much the whole thing. But see, like when I was in high school, Mom Dukes put me in this this tutoring program, Huntington, in Richmond. And I mean, I was a smart guy, smart kid. I just didn't apply myself because I didn't care that much. But they taught me how to read. They taught me. I mean, I knew how to read. Like I middle school, elementary school, I got awards for reading because I just love to read. Like I think when did Harry Potter come out? Harry Potter came out 2001. I was in the 4th grade in 2001. I was reading way before that. I know how to read back in the 1st grade, kindergarten. And I know it's kids who could read when they was 2-3 years old. But I've been knowing how to read. I was reading big boy books. Well, I'm not going to say Harry Potter's big boy books, but I was reading big boy books with big boy pages back in 2001 when I was in the 4th grade. And I'm saying that to say that when you're doing your research, you just gotta go through the information because the truth is out there. It is out there. And oh yeah, the point that I was trying to make about reading is when you're going through all this information, like you got to pick out the paragraphs, okay? And I'm not saying pick out, oh, well, this paragraph looks good to me. This paragraph looks good to me. Each one of the paragraphs, the main topic is in the first sentence of the paragraph. And then from there, you can determine whether or not you're going to read the rest of the paragraph or not, or if you need what's in that paragraph. Sometimes you do, sometimes everything you got is in the beginning of that paragraph. Read the first sentence of the paragraph, and then from there, determine, decipher, make a decision on whether or not you need to read the rest of that sentence. And I mean, essentially, that's kind of how you speed read. And they taught me that back in high school. See, if you never paid attention or you never got put in to tutor, then that's something that you just wouldn't know. And that's why I'm here. I'm putting you on. That's how you effectively read and not waste your time and be able to get through articles and information that you find on the internet a whole hell of a lot quicker. Because when you're on social media and you're looking at a video, that's cool, that's fine, that's dandy and stuff like that. But then if you're really invested, then you go and you look at the articles, and one thing that you want to do is you want to look at the website, and if it has a .com up there, that might be fraudulent. But if it has a .org or a .gov up there or a .co, well, I mean, that could be fraudulent too. But you want to look at that dot and then what comes after that, and that's going to tell you the validity and the reputation, or if it's even a site that could have a reputable reputation. I'm trying to use all these big words, forget all these big words. But from there, then you go on the website and then just read the first paragraph, the first sentence of these paragraphs, and it'll give you what you need. And then compare that to the other information that you're looking at. You can open up Windows and compare and say, well, this one's saying this and this one's saying that, and why are these dates off and da-da-da-da-da, and you'll be able to draw your conclusion from there. I'm telling you, this is what I do. I do research. That's another thing that I did very well back in school, especially college, was I was a great public speaker, but also I could put together a speech or a paper quickly and make it make sense. I mean, quickly. Don't give me some time. Now, if you catch me on the spur of the moment, you catch me on a good day, boy, I'm quick. I'm quick like a rattlesnake. Some days I'm like, abba dabba, I don't know. Who, what, when, where. I'm lost. You might run a circle around me, but give me some time, I can put together something. I can chef something up for you, for sure. And if it's not good enough, I can at least give you a nice foundation of something. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, not to get off on a tangent. All right. In the 1990s, 1199 organized thousands of nursing home and healthcare workers, and later emerged with the Service Employees International Union to become 1199 SCIU, United Healthcare Workers East. 1965, coming up through the years. Coming of age. 1970, Filipino and Mexican American farm workers led by Philip Vera Cruz, Cesar Chavez, and Dolores Huerta organized a great boycott that succeeded in rallying national support. I'm only laughing because I've heard that name before. Cesar Chavez Boulevard. After 5 years, it brought great growers to the table to sign a first union contract granting better pay, benefits, and protections. However, agricultural workers today still have a very low rate of union membership. 1979, the number of union members reached a peak of 21 million. Despite the erosion in labor unions' member numbers, power, and influence since then, they have continued to prove their importance, particularly in the political Spear. Unions today, 2008 to 2024. Unions were instrumental in the election of Obama in '08 and re-elected in 2012. Union leaders hoped that Obama would be able to pass the Employee Free Choice Act, legislation intended to streamline and shorten the process of bringing new members into unions. However, Democrats were unable to garner enough support to pass the law. Union membership decreased during the Obama administration, which may have led some union members to switch their support to Republican Donald Trump during the 2016 presidential election. Biden worked during his term to get unions back on board with the Democrats by vowing to be the most pro-union president, leading the most pro-union administration in American history. The highest rates of union membership are in the public sector, and specifically in local government, which covers the heavily unionized occupations of police officers, firefighters, and teachers. Private sector industries with high unionization rates include utilities, motion pictures, sound recording, transportation, and warehousing. In 2023, non-union workers had median weekly earnings of $1,337, which is 199 more dollars than more than the 1,138 recorded for union members. Non-union workers. Non-union workers. Non-union workers. Interesting. Organized labor is now more diverse than ever. In 2024, 14.3 million people employed in the U.S. belong to unions, representing about a tenth of the working population. Representation was fairly evenly divided among genders and races, with black workers at an enrollment rate of 11.8%, the most likely of all races to be part of a union. Less encouraging for unions is the gradual decline in membership rates. In 1983, about 20% of the working U.S. population was part of a union, compared with 10.2% in 2024. Employees have successfully organized unions at some Amazon, Starbucks, and Apple facilities, in stores. A tight labor market in 2022 also increased membership. Support for unions. The decline in union membership is perceived as a negative for most Americans, according to a study by Pew Research Center. As many as 54% of Americans polled said they believed the drop was bad for the country, while 59% suggested it has been bad for employees. Younger generations are also helping to boost union membership. Some reports claim the biggest gains in union membership in recent years have been among workers ages 34 and younger. Young people are unionizing in new sectors too, such as art museums, cannabis shops, digital media brands, political campaigns, and tech companies. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, the company I work for, they essentially forced us to be in the union. They said, hey, if you're not a part of this union, then you can pretty much get terminated for sneezing the wrong way, which I've seen happen. As far as that company is concerned, you have 6 months. You have up to 6 months, and then you're able to become part of the union. 6 month probation time period. Then after that, then they essentially force you to become part of the union and pay dues. And if you don't join the union within a certain amount of time, once you get to your 6 months, then they basically tell you, like I just said, you can get fired for sneezing the wrong way. Pretty much. When did U.S. workers get the right to unionize? And we pretty much talked about all that. And the bottom line is unions have a long history in the U.S. and they have broadly influenced politics and the economy over the years. Some of the benefits of unions for workers have included higher wages and better working conditions, and we already know all of that stuff right there. Talking about the unions. All right. I mean, I don't know if I really need to go into all of the majority of everything that's in this next article, but we can at least start reading on some of this stuff right here. And if it starts to sound redundant, then we'll go ahead and skip on to the next article. All right, this next article comes to us by nerdwallet.com, written by Anna Helhosky. We know what unions are. We know it's a lot of people who are part of unions. We pretty much went through how unions work. Let's talk about forming a union. How to form a union. To form a union, workers must take a couple of official steps to both show interest in forming a union and gain that recognition from their employer. Here's how they can do it. Voluntary recognition. No, I'm saying that wrong. But anyways, a majority of employees can sign union authorization cards, which are forms that record a person's interest in a union. At that point, workers can request recognition as a union from the employer, and the employer can voluntarily do so. A majority vote in an election, which is also another way of forming a union. If the employer doesn't voluntarily recognize the union, but at least 30% of employees sign union authorization cards, the employees can file a petition for an election conducted by a labor agency such as the the National Labor Relations Board, NLRB, which is tasked with protecting workers' rights to collective bargaining. If the majority of employees vote to unionize, the labor agency will certify the group as union. The NLRB conducted 1,482 elections in 2023, and unions won 71% of those elections. Let's see. The size and scope of each union varies. For example, you may have seen the International Brotherhood of Teamsters in the news over the past year. It represents more than 1.2 million people in a wide array of occupations across the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico, according to its website. The Teamsters Union represents 340,000 UPS workers, and during summer 2024, it negotiated a deal with UPS after threatening a strike. Let's see. I mean, we kind of been already talked about this. How many union workers are in the U.S.? Union membership by states, and this shows all the states and the percentage of workers that are unionized. All right, so hold on real quick. Let me see 4 ways unions make our economy and democracy stronger. I think we've already kind of gone over that. From every background, the decline in union memberships helped explain the rise in wage inequality. And we still doing that. I mean, because we have systems in place. All right, so let's talk about this. Notable 2024 unionization activity and news. July 2024. Starbucks workers on July 19th. Workers at a Starbucks located in the mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh voted to unionize. On July 18th, Workers at a Starbucks located on Mass Ave in downtown Indianapolis announced they will unionize with Starbucks Workers United. On July 17th, workers at Starbucks location at Speedway and Park in Tucson, Arizona, voted to unionize. Some 10,500 baristas at 460 Starbucks locations nationwide are now unionized with Starbucks Workers United. We're not gonna read all of these. Let's see. I think I got a video pulled up to give us an idea of what's going on. Or these might actually be the strike videos. I'm not really sure. Let's see. I think this is the strike video. Let's see.
That the CEO had to come out and say, please stop boycotting and protesting. It's a crazy story. The last quarter, Starbucks has lost $11 billion. So to understand the story, you have to understand how Starbucks works. So Starbucks employees, by and large, belong to or try to belong to unions. So unions within Starbucks are incredibly powerful, more so than we see in most other companies today. And these unions are independent from Starbucks, from what they say. And what one of them did caused international outrage, basically. 4 million people saw this tweet, and it's the Starbucks Workers Unite, which is the union, and they said they stand with Palestine. So specifically, they issued a very strong condemnation of this. I can't say those words on TikTok. Sparked off a huge debate and caused protests around the world. And since then...
All right. Let's see. We got another video. I'm not sure if this is more of a strike video. Let me keep going. I think we pretty much covered what's going on. All right, let's talk about strikes. Yeah, it's a part of it. It is a part of this. And like I said, I'm learning with some of you guys. Some of you guys, y'all know way more and way better than me. So this article just talks about a bunch of strikes that have happened in the past. Thousands of Costco workers prepare to strike with midnight contract deadline looming. Thousands and the Teamsters Union approach a deadline to reach a new contract agreement. Trains canceled across Bangladesh as rail union goes on strike. Las Vegas Hotel Workers Union reaches deal with casino to end longest strike in decades. Sheesh. Striking ski patrollers at the biggest U.S. resort return to work claiming victory. And the final video on this topic that I'll talk about is talking about the Hollywood strikes.
After failing to reach a deal with major studios.
There's something really unbelievable going on in Hollywood right now.
We stand in solidarity.
This is not it.
We had no choice. We are the victims here.
Actors are being replaced by AI, and they're being told to come in for a one-time scan, and their likeness will be used from there on without pay. It can be used for eternity. AI has officially taken over the entire world. It's all turning into one big episode of Black Mirror, it seems.
The main sticking points include safeguards for the use of AI, along with pay and residuals for streaming shows. Netflix alone has more than 230 million subscribers. Today, Disney CEO Bob Iger weighed in.
There's a level of expectation.
Now, I think this is legitimate concern right here. Because I just filmed a video, like a short, saying, stop watching TV, start making it. Why? Because this is the new Hollywood. YouTube is the new Hollywood. All the Hollywood people are coming over here. The Hollywood people that were hip to the game, they were already here. But they're all starting to come back here. because this is where the money is. See, YouTube, they're not going for that AI thing. They're not going for it. Matter of fact, they have AI reviewing everybody's videos because they don't have enough humans, and humans aren't capable of reviewing every single piece of content that's posted on YouTube. So, one, AI is definitely here to stay. It's important. It's the way of the future. Get over it. Use it as a tool. Just like your car. Your car is a tool. Would you rather ride an ass or drive in a nice car with a piece of ass sitting beside you? I'm just saying. But with things like this happening, and it's been happening, this came out in 2023. It's 2025 now. I'm just here to make you think. Shout out to Dan Calloway. I'm just here to make you think. I'm here to make myself think. And with that, hopefully we can all get better together. And with that, that is everything that I have on strikes. Now, we're going to slide over here to how these airlines making all this money. Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Money. All right. Hold on. Make sure I got my stuff set up right. And I do. All right. How much money does the national and global airline industry make? Hold on. Before we do all that, let me make sure. Excuse me. Close that. Make sure my articles are up. Got Forbes up here. Because I think they're all out of order. Nah, I really don't want that. Nah, we're not doing that. Save my preferences. Cool. They're making a lot of money. A lot of money. Big bank, tank, little bank. Big bank, tank, little bank. But I tell you, I would never want to own an airline. Never. I thought about it once upon a time ago. I thought about it. I was like, if I had the funds to do it, what would I call it? And I call it Divided Airlines. I don't know. I call it Divided Airlines. Divided Airlines. That's what we're going to call it. Divided. All right. The national airline industry in 2023 made around $280 billion, while the global industry had reached $841.5 billion in big head hunters. Big faces. Big heads. That's a nearly 30% and 7% increase from the year before. This is a marked 44% improvement from 2021, which we already know what happened in 2020. Do I really care how much they made? Not really. We just said that. So let's talk about the revenue. What are the revenue streams in the airline industry? That's what we really want to know, because that's what I really want to know. Ticket sales are the predominant source of revenue for the airline industry, making up approximately 70 to 80% of the earnings. This is especially true when demand is high. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the full screen so you can see all of my beautiful face and not this article. just in case I want to clip this. All right. As airlines can remain competitive while charging more for tickets, this is also why it's cost effective for passengers to buy tickets during the off seasons. Baggage fees. Checked baggage fees are a major yet recent income source for airlines to supplement competitive ticket sales, reaching approximately 3.5 milli. It's somewhat controversial due to many believing that further limiting free overhead bin space is a key component of those fees. Look, it's been one time that I've flown, and I've flown many times. I've been a lot of places, and I've checked one bag the whole time. Now, the more I fly and the longer I stay at my travel destination, my vacation destination, where I will have my feet out, I will have the summer body loaded, chiseled, and out here doing what it needs to do and doing its thing, then of course, yeah, I'll pack some baggage. But also, I want to get to the point where I don't even need to pack bags. I want to get to a point where I could just go to the destination with an empty suitcase and buy. Buy, buy, buy. Buy, buy, buy. All right. Ancillary services. We're going to hear that word again. We will hear that word again. Ancillary services or extraneous products. Did I say extraneous? I did say extraneous products and services that can make your trip more comfortable and less stressful are an increasingly important driver of airline revenue. These optional services include seat selection, in-flight meals, Wi-Fi, priority boarding, and travel insurance. Cargo services, freight and cargo planes that transport goods are a significant alternative to passenger sales. Code sharing and alliances. Code sharing agreements or when airlines sell tickets for partner airlines and help them expand their destination options. Charter services. Private charter flights for corporate events, sports teams, or other purposes in which a group requires an entire aircraft. Like I know, for example, United flies and transports the San Francisco 49ers. Like, off deck. I know that. Frequent flyer program. Are programs that give regular travelers points for every mile they fly, as well as points for ancillary services. These programs incentivize additional travel expeditures for frequent travelers who are responsible for a significant portion of revenue and help enhance brand loyalty. Travel partnerships. Frequent flyer programs also include partnerships with credit card companies, car rentals, and hotel bookings to offer deals and rewards through the airline's websites to further incentivize passengers. Leasing and maintenance services. Some airlines lease out their services to other carriers or provide maintenance, repair, and overhaul services through third-party airlines. Of course, in the future, they're expecting to increase the revenue. Of course they do. That's what we all are shooting for. I hope. If you're up here and you're a lighter, or if you're an envious one and you're living an envious way, you better be working to get a little bit better every day, to increase your revenue and your profit every day, to be just the best, complete, influential, unconquerable version of yourself. You better be. Because then what's the point of sitting up here and listening to me? You better be making TV and not watching TV, even though you need to be watching me. All right, here's where airlines actually make money. This is really what I wanted to harp on and talk about. All right. Hold on. Before I get into that, let's see. All right, yeah, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, we'll read the whole thing. Before we get to that, so the key, some key takeaways that I've taken away from doing my research on airlines and how much money they're making and how they actually make their money and all the different ways that they could turn a profit is the four biggest U.S. airlines. Give me a second. Delta, United, American, and Southwest together generated more than 200 billion in revenue last year, but they all lost money actually transporting passengers. They all lost money actually transporting passengers. They all lost money actually transporting passengers. All four of the Titans registered higher cost per available seat mile than passenger revenue per available seat mile in 2024. And still, the airlines all turned in net profits last year. Why? Why, Don? What's the reason? Investopedia.com is going to tell us the reason. The reason is credit cards are the main reason. And that's the case. So I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of like some things that is saying up in here, talking about cost per available seat mile or passenger revenue per available seat mile. We're not going to get lost in all of that language. That's not what we're here for. We want to know how these airlines are turning a profit. At least I want to know. Maybe you don't want to know, but I want to know how these airlines are turning a profit. This is how they actually make money. The reason airlines can turn a profit boils down to that plastic. I still got plastic. I don't have any titanium in my pocket. But that credit card. It's not your luggage. It's the credit card. But being real, airlines sell frequent flyer miles to credit card companies at advantageous terms, with the card issuers then offering the miles as rewards to cardholders. Big Dog Delta made about 7.4 billion from American Express last year, driven by high single digit growth in co-brand spent and over 1 million new card acquisitions, the president Glenn Hostein said on the company's fourth quarter earnings call. American Airlines signed an exclusive deal with Citi on co-branded credit cards in early December, sending its shares up by 17% that day. The carrier, which said it received 5.6 billion from its co-branded credit card and other partners. We're gonna say partners because that's what the article say. And the 12 months ended September 30th. Expects that number to keep growing, eventually approaching 10 billion. And that is how the airlines actually make money from credit cards. Selling frequent flyer miles to credit card companies at crazy terms, with the card issuers then offering the miles as rewards to card holders. That's how they make their money. It's not flying your big butt across the country with little to no leg room. You taking up both the armrests because you don't want to control how much you eating. It's not that. I don't even need to go into the rest of this. Do I really want to go into the rest of this? Not really. But they're not making money off of you like that. They really make their money off of credit cards. So that bubble's been bust. Pause. All right, so let's talk about the 12 most profitable airports in the world. I had to make sure all my stuff is going right, doing what it's supposed to do. All right, Shanghai Pudong International Airport, CVG, 530 flights per day. This is a highly significant airport for its strategic location in Shanghai, one of the world's largest economic and financial centers. As China's primary international gateway, PVG is a crucial hub connecting Asia with the rest of the world. It is vital in facilitating global trade, attracting foreign investment, and promoting tourism. Number 11, Amsterdam Airport, AMS. 536 flights per day. The Amsterdam Airport is one of the most important airports in Europe and serves as the primary international gateway to the Netherlands. It holds significant importance due to its excellent connectivity to various global destinations. This airport consistently ranks among the busiest airports in Europe in terms of passenger traffic and cargo volume. It is a major hub for numerous airlines. I believe it's a hub for either Delta or United. I know Berlin is one for United. Delhi, DEL, 558 flights per day. Delhi, also aka Indira, Indira Gandhi International Airport, IGIA, is a vital transportation hub in India. It is a key connection point for domestic and international flights, facilitating travel to and from Delhi with its multiple terminals and diverse amenities. The airport caters to the varied needs of passengers from around the world. All right, Istanbul Airport, IST, 577 flights per day. Istanbul is highly profitable because of its location at the intersection of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, enabling it to cater to diverse travelers. With its state-of-the-art facilities and efficient operations, the airport can accommodate many passengers, driving revenue from various sources such as airline fees and concessions. The airport's popularity as a tourist destination, along with Istanbul's growing prominence as an economic and cultural hub, contributes to increased air traffic and commercial opportunities, ultimately enhancing its profitability. John F. Kennedy International Airport, JFK, 581 flights per day, situated near the New York City. Why they worded like that? Situated near New York City, JFK benefits from the high demand of travelers to and from one of the world's most prominent metropolitan areas. It is a major transportation hub, offering a phenomenal range of domestic and international flight options. The airport's extensive network of airlines, coupled with its modern infrastructure and facilities, attracts a large volume of passengers, leading to its increased revenue. JFK was ranked as the most profitable airport in the U.S. in 2015 based on its total operating revenue. It generated an operating income of $452 million, representing a 17% growth over 5 years. JFK showcased strong financial standing with an operating income per employee and per flight of $1 million, a little over $1 million, and a little over $1,000, respectively. Ooh, number 7, Tokyo International Airport, HND, 613 flights per day, aka Haneda Airport. It is one of the busiest airports in the world, serving as a major hub for domestic and international flights. The airport has experienced significant growth in recent years, with a high volume of passenger traffic and airlines operating there. Its profitability can be attributed to its strategic location, efficient operations, extensive passenger amenities, and strong connectivity to major cities worldwide. Why? Because we global, baby. Yeah. Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. Next time I come back there, I'm finding that terminal with the piano and I'm gonna get down on it. Get down on it. LAX, 659 flights per day, is a sprawling aviation hub renowned for its size and importance as one of the most profitable airports in the world. LAX features extensive facilities and serves as a vital link for domestic and international travel. With its diverse network of airlines and connections, LAX plays a crucial role in enabling worldwide travel and supporting the region's tourism and business and commercial endeavors. All right. Number 5, the 5th most profitable airport in the world. Charlotte Douglas International Airport, CLT, 673 flights per day. I've been there. I've been to some of these airports. CLT is a key hub for connecting domestic and international travel, a significant entry point to the southeast of the United States. The airport supports regional tourism, trade, and economic activities by boosting global connectivity through its extensive network of airlines and locations. It's one of the most profitable airports in the world. All right, number 4, Denver International Airport, DIA, DEN. That's what we know it as. 776 flights per day. With a remarkable range of connectivity, Denver International Airport offers nonstop flights to over 215 destinations, surpassing any other airport in the United States. This extensive network includes more than 28 international cities, solidifying Denver as a vital gateway for travelers, making it one of the most profitable airports in the U.S. I wouldn't mind living in Denver. I know it gets cold there. Chicago O'Hare International Airport, ORD, 826 flights per day, recognized as the world's most connected airport in 2023. O'Hare plays a crucial role in facilitating global travel and serves as a key transportation hub for the region. Reports suggest that O'Hare Airport in Chicago is bouncing back after the pandemic as more people are starting to travel again. The airport is operating at around 75% of the pre-pandemic levels. Notably, Terminal 5 at O'Hare is experiencing record numbers, prompting the introduction of new airlines to accommodate the growing demand. Number 2, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, DFW. And this airport shuts down for no reason. When you could sneeze outside and they're delaying flights. All right, 848 flights per day, situated in the vibrant Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. The airport benefits from a bustling and growing population that generates a consistent passenger demand. DFW's position as a prominent center for numerous major airlines amplifies its profitability, ensuring a constant influx of travelers. DFW's commitment to operational excellence, state-of-the-art facilities, and exceptional customer service solidifies its reputation and reinforces its financial prosperity. And number 1, this is probably the airport that I've visited the most out of all of them. It's between this one and O'Hare. Hartsford, Jackson, Atlanta, International Airport, ATL, shouty, 910 flights per day. The airport is a significant economic powerhouse in the U.S. It generates an impressive 34.8 billion in economic impact for Metro Atlanta and provides over 63,000 on-site jobs, making it the largest employer in the state. With 5 runways, 7 concourses, and efficient connectivity, the airport is renowned for its excellent operational efficiency. Moreover, Hartsfield-Jackson attracts substantial investments from third-party investors, showcasing its reach beyond airlines. Its remarkable success and contributions contribute to Georgia's position as the third fastest growing state in terms of GPD in the southeastern region. Woo! ATL, Georgia, like a Georgetown, oh yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you. We talked about today in the Donism. It's cheaper to maintain than it is to replace. Hey, just stop being lazy, man. Get out your comfort zone. Like David Gaga said, man, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You need to get comfortable with suffering. Stop playing with your life, man, because life is short and you don't know when that plug is going to get pulled on you. So go ahead and do what you need to do to maintain instead of having to replace shit. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting money. Stop wasting resources, because it doesn't have to go like that. It doesn't have to be like that. All right. So that was the isms. The Don isms for the day. It's cheaper and it makes more sense to maintain than to replace. The word of the day was coup. C-O-U-P, which is, if I remember correctly, a noun. Coup is a noun, but it can also be a verb or coup d'etat. All right. Then, first topic that we talked about, first topic that we talked about, we gave an update on the DCA collision that happened. Rest in peace once again to all the victims, and condolences to all the families that were involved in that tragedy. It was a tragedy. We had a moment of silence for them, and let's just hope that FAA gets it together. Well, excuse me, I ain't gonna say FAA. If I could take that back, that wasn't on the FAA. All right. After that, then we talked about unions. We did a deep dive on the unions, and then we just talked about how airlines actually make their money. They actually make their money off of these credit cards and these frequent flyer points that they're selling to the banks, and then the banks are giving them to they're giving them away, and they're not giving them away. All right. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, forever, I'm the Senator of Smooth and Road. I'm the Czar Style. I'm your internet cousin, Don Tesla. Stay envious, be safe, take your time, drive a light. Signal out.
That's so gay. It's so mysterious to me. Yeah.